Our film commences in China, revealing that planet Earth has been suffering from various natural disasters for many years, such as earthquakes, volcanoes, and sea level decrease, among other occurrences. People overlooked all these issues in the past, but recently a new problem emerged. The sun began to expand, and within a year, it will engulf our planet. For the first time, the world united to confront this dilemma, forming a governing body called the Unified Government. Its role is to make decisions for the benefit of the people. After much deliberation, they decided to move the planet from its current position within the known solar system, safeguarding it from the sun's influence. They named it the Migrant Planet. However, their plan involved building massive engines on Earth and activating them simultaneously to propel the planet against the sun's trajectory. They knew this would create a new problem for Earth, causing it to freeze due to its distance from its sole heat source, the sun. To address this, they constructed a vast underground city beneath each engine. Yet, given the planet's large population, which exceeded the capacity of these cities, the unified government decided to select citizens randomly through a lottery. In addition, they announced the establishment of a space station control center whose mission was to monitor events on Earth and any external threats. This way, they could notify the citizens if they detected any new danger. Do you know about the unified government's need for around 100 engineers? To persuade people to volunteer for this crucial task, they offered a deal. Anyone who volunteered could take one family member to the underground cities. A man named Beking accepted this offer, requesting his father to accompany him and ensure his son's safety. Afterward, they bid farewell, and Beking's father returned to Earth to report on the mission. Upon Beking's return, along with two of his companions, they discovered that his son, Yuki, had lived in an underground chamber since his father's departure. He remained utterly oblivious to the events occurring on the planet's surface and became curious about the world outside. On that day, Yuki decided to escape, taking his sister, who also wanted to explore, to purchase thermal clothing from a specific vendor. However, the vendor recognized Yuki and realized he was evading payment for the thermal clothing he had acquired a day earlier without any money to spare. This resulted in an altercation, and Yuki ran away from the vendor. Finally, they managed to escape to the surface, only to discover that the only people allowed outside are the workers involved in the engine's operation and fuel extraction for the machines. Both of them are astonished by the sight of the Earth, now covered in snow due to its distance from the sun. Yuki takes a car from someone there, which turns out to be stolen from his grandpa, and he starts to drive it. A police officer spots them and arrests Yuki for car theft. Hans, aware of what happened, rushes to save his grandchildren. He tries to bribe the officer to release them, but the officer refuses and decides to imprison them all. The prison they are in, along with the other underground cities, is severely affected by a powerful earthquake, causing buildings to collapse. The police officer, trying to rescue them, sacrifices himself as he dies while saving them. Meanwhile, Beking is about to hibernate, knowing about his family's situation. He contacts them and orders the head of the rescue team to find someone else to care for them. However, the director refuses and promises to return them to the city once their mission is complete. Beking insists, but is reminded of his mistake when he sacrificed his wife. Amidst the chaos, there is a sudden gravitational impact with Jupiter, causing the two planets to collide. This results in a loss of a significant number of engines, contributing to the catastrophic collapse of the Earth. The unified government orders the immediate execution of Emergency Law No. 3, requiring the machines to be restarted quickly to save the planet from destruction. Hans manages to escape with his grandchildren, Kimu included. They take a car and attempt to reach where the engines are, facing crumbling buildings along the way. The rescue team receives an urgent call for one of the engine's repairs. Hans is forced to assist them because he possesses an ignition channels device to start the engines. The rescue team boards the car with Hans and heads to the engine's location. As they travel, Becking is on the verge of entering hibernation. He learns of his family's plight and contacts them, ordering the head of the rescue team to find someone else to care for them. However, the captain refuses, promising to return them to the city when their mission ends. Becking insists, but he is reminded of his past mistake, sacrificing his wife. They began searching for a vehicle to transport them home, and by chance, they came across another jeep belonging to the rescue team. All the signs were there, except for one person whom they discovered was afraid of them and feared they might steal the vehicle. However, they soon reassured him, and they knew the jeep's mechanic could fix any malfunctions. Consequently, the mechanic started conversing with him and learned they were trying to rescue another engine. Unfortunately, a volcanic eruption had occurred nearby, resulting in the deaths of most of the crew, leaving them with a considerable distance to cover to reach the engine they needed. Meanwhile, they received a distress message from the leader of the other rescue team, informing them about Watt, who had stumbled upon them. They knew he carried vital information, but didn't know how to use it because he lacked a vehicle to reach the engine. The head of the rescue team requested any available vehicle to be sent their way, and although there had been conflicts between the group and Watt, they decided to help him. Watt explained that reaching the engine would take extensive time, so they opted to head to the other rescue team to aid them in getting the engine faster. Unfortunately, one of the other team members succumbed to the volcanic disaster, adding to their troubles. Meanwhile, Nate, having lost hope after witnessing the city's destruction, contemplated igniting himself, but the team leader intervened. Yuki, driving the jeep they had, assured them it was functional. The rescue team boarded the vehicle, continuing their journey towards the engine. Meanwhile, King had managed to emerge from his hibernation state after containing the gas spread. Following the emergency protocol, Mercury, one of the crew members, tried to prevent King from carrying out his plans. However, Mercury, another crew member, ignored the situation and went to sleep. King's trusted friend, the other crew member, attempted to reason with him, and King realized they were not mocking him. Knowing that the older ones among them entered the hibernation phase to distance the space station from Earth, Moses confirmed what he had warned the unified government about multiple times, though no one heeded his words. Consequently, King decided to take the crew to another planet to save them and leave Earth to its fate. He intended to intervene to save his family and the planet's remaining population, so he sought a way to go to their current location and reach the central control unit to control the space station's movements. Marco agreed to help him, but despite all their efforts, they couldn't disable Mercury. Thus, only two of them continued to the control unit. Unfortunately, Mercury's helmet broke after Moses released gas to stop them, leading to Mercury's demise. However, King reached the control unit, and they listened to his plea for help. You are suggesting that it was not their original plan, but rather the heads of state who ordered this course of action after confirming that there was no hope of saving Earth. At this moment, the rescue team reaches the engine and learns through the radio that the machine is no longer functional. It is repaired that rescue teams can fix most engines worldwide. However, despite all their efforts, the problem remains unresolved. This is due to Jupiter's gravitational force being more potent than the power of all these engines. Moses begins to communicate with the people of planet Earth and explains what has happened. He states that the mission of the migrating planet has failed and they only have a few hours left. Jupiter will continue to deceive Earth until the world collapses. As a result, they decide to execute the alternative plan, the human rescue plan. They intended to start a new life on another planet, so they fled with embryos and essential crop seeds to begin a new civilization. Moses asks the people of Earth to utilize the remaining hours to bid farewell to their families while they spread out across the planet. People are divided between those who steal, flee, and rush to say their goodbyes. King tries to contact his son for the last time, but Moses informs him that they are out of range. Despite all that has happened, Yuki still holds hope and recalls his father's words about Jupiter being primarily composed of hydrogen. After careful consideration, he devises a new plan: hibernation. They use Jupiter's ability to drain and ignite their oxygen to generate a powerful thrust that will propel them away from the planet. The crew members agree to assist in the plan. Leo and Mark conduct the ignition process, while Moses and King attempt to stop rescue teams from interfering. However, everyone refuses to help because they want to spend their last hours with their families and reach the engine. Each member executes their tasks, but they realize that mechanism activation task requires a significant effort, so they decide to proceed without it. Tammy starts sending distress signals to all the rescue teams, but initially they are met with disbelief and despair. However, her message eventually has an impact, and rescue teams join in the effort. Still, despite their endeavors, the ignition force fails to reach Jupiter due to the distance between them. King sacrifices himself and takes control of the space station, positioning himself between the engine and Jupiter. He initiates a fire to start a chain reaction, and the ignition force finally reaches Jupiter. Meanwhile, the people of Earth seek refuge in underground cities to shield themselves from the thrust's impact. Despite a considerable loss of life due to the force, the mission is booming, and Earth starts to move away from Jupiter. The journey will take 3 years, during which life in the underground cities will gradually return to normal. The planet will continue away from the sun's influence towards a new orbit. In the meantime, Viking is preparing to return to Earth. He bids farewell to his close friend Microop, wishing him a happy life with his son, whom he has not seen or spoken to in years due to a disagreement. Suddenly, a powerful earthquake strikes, causing buildings to collapse, even affecting the underground cities. The prison they are in also collapses, and the police officer, who had shown them kindness earlier, dies while trying to save them. They manage to escape the prison, but at this moment, Viking finds Becking's situation not ideal. Becking is about to enter hibernation, and Viking can sense that Becking's family is in danger. He contacts them and orders the head of the rescue team to find someone else to care for them. However, the captain refuses, promising to bring them back to the city once their mission is complete. Viking insists, but he is reminded of his past mistake when he sacrificed his wife. Back on Earth, Hans is on the verge of entering hibernation and learns of his family's plight. He contacts them and orders the head of the rescue team to find someone else to care for them. However, the captain refuses, promising to return them to the city when their mission ends. Hans insists, but he's reminded of his past mistake when he sacrificed his wife. He decides to appoint Viking as the guardian for his grandchildren, Yuki and Hend. As the situation worsens, buildings collapse due to the gravitational impact of Jupiter. The head of the rescue team decides to take Yuki and Hend to safety, but Hans objects, stating they are too young and vulnerable to fend for themselves. Despite the risks, they start climbing the stairs of a nearby building to reach safety. However, the elevator is not working, and gas is spreading around them. The head of the rescue team picks them up and carries them toward the roof for evacuation. As they move, buildings begin to fall around them due to the gravitational pull of Jupiter. The head of the rescue team decides to take Yuki and Hend to safety, but Hans objects, stating that they are too young and must be taken care of. Despite the danger, they start climbing the stairs of a nearby building to reach safety. However, the elevator is not working, and gas is spreading around them. The head of the rescue team decides to take them up through the elevator shaft and carries them toward the roof for evacuation. They escape through the elevator shaft and reach the roof just in time as the building collapses. The head of the rescue team carries them to safety, while the rest of the crew tries to find a solution to repair the engine. As they travel, Yuki and Hend share their feelings about their father, blaming him for his actions and feeling betrayed. Meanwhile, Viking is about to enter hibernation. He learns about the dire situation and contacts the team, ordering them to find someone else to care for his family. However, the team leader refuses, stating that they are on an urgent mission and promises to return them to the city later. Biking insists, but he is reminded of the mistakes he made in the past. He entrusts his grandchildren's welfare to the team leader, Yuki, and Hend. Despite their sorrow and fear, the team leader assures them they will be cared for until they reach the city. As they continue their journey, they witness the collapse of buildings due to Jupiter's strong gravitational pull. The team leader instructs them to wear protective gear to minimize risks. Suddenly, they encounter a rescue team vehicle and find they are on a mission to repair one of the engines. The team leader reluctantly takes them to the scene, where they find themselves amid a collapsing building. Hans, Yuki, and Hend manage to escape the collapsing building with the help of the team leader. They move quickly to find a safer location, but Hans falls and gets trapped on the ground floor. The team leader prevents Yuki and Hend from trying to rescue him as the building continues to crumble. The team leader and his crew evacuate them just in time, and the building collapses, resulting in Hans's death. With Hans gone, Yuki and Hend are left in the care of the team leader and his crew. The team leader provides them food and supplies until they reach the city. As they prepare to restart the engines, Yuki, Hend, and the rest of the crew are uncertain about their future, with their world hanging in the balance.